president has met with the head of the National Assembly from his own bloc, as well as representatives from the far-right National Rally, including Marine Le Pen. Let's take a listen to what she had to say coming out of that meeting.
The new Popular Front is led by France Insoumise. So the idea that there should be a new Popular Front government without France Insoumise ministers changes absolutely nothing. In reality, it'll still be France Insoumise, and it'll still be Jean-Luc Mélenchon leading the government.
For some more analysis on the story, I'd like to bring in Anna McKeever. She's a lecturer in political science at the University of West Scotland. Anna, thanks so much for joining us. You have studied the effects of immigration, in particular on right-wing politics, including here in France. We just heard from the National Rally's Marine Le Pen. How do you think that the issue has affected the country's rightward drift in recent years?
Well, I think that Marine Le Pen has done tremendous work in trying to normalize her rhetoric to appeal to a wider population. And obviously, with every election, we've seen that the National Rally is getting biggest share, bigger and bigger share of seats and share of votes. So what the strategy of Marine Le Pen now is obviously to discredit the radical left, La France Insoumise. And again, all the parties are already in campaign mode for the presidential elections and for the future parliamentary elections that are likely, to take place shortly in the year. But definitely, there has been a sort of droitisation of the French politics in the recent years, where I've seen the topics of immigration, the topics of asylum, of niqab coming more and more to the forefront. And obviously, Marine Le Pen has played a crucial role in doing so. But also mainstream politicians are very much responsible for normalizing such rhetoric.
Well, on that topic, in fact, Macron, of course, often described as a centrist, and yet he has stalked his previous governments with plenty of figures from what you would have to say are the right-wing. Gérald Darmanin, the interior minister, taking a very tough anti-immigration line himself, a right-winger. Do you think this label of centrist applies to Macron on the first part, and also has the political conversation here in France, has he allowed it to be pushed by the National Rally?
Absolutely. So, since Marine Le Pen became the leader in 2011, she excluded her father from the party. She tries to lead this de-demonization strategy, trying to appeal to a wider population. But very much so, why we're seeing this shift to the right, and Macron indeed passed the immigration law with the help of the National Rally last year. So why we're seeing this is because the mainstream politicians like Macron, like Les Républicains, the rightist party, they have contributed to normalization of such rhetoric over time by, first of all, bringing immigration to the political discourse to the forefront of the agenda, and also by passing, important legislation on immigration during Sarkozy's time in office, when he was the president, when he was the Minister of the Interior, then when during Macron's presidency as well. So absolutely. Mainstream politicians have normalized that, and they are as much responsible for this sort of shift to the right as the National Rally. And that's why we're also seeing, the increasing success of the National Rally in the recent years, because it's becoming more socially acceptable for voters to vote for such party, because if mainstream politicians talk about this in the same manner about immigration, then it definitely normalizes the rhetoric.
Again, on this topic, you see here in France, especially coming from Macron and his government, this sort of equivalency applied to the far-right National Rally and what they say, the far left, La France Insoumise, France Unbowed. Do you think that that's a legitimate comparison? Is there really the same sort of danger to the Republic from a party that really did have its roots in Nazism versus a party that is, to many people, would seem to be in line with the previous social democratic programs here in Europe?
No, I don't think we can compare the national rally with La France Insoumise because obviously what we're seeing, what Jean-Luc Mélenchon has done over the weekend when he said that, well, we are not going to appoint ministers from La France Insoumise in order, for the president to accept the Nouveau Front Populaire candidacy. But so he's prepared to work for the French democracy. While we are seeing the national rally and Marine Le Pen right now coming half an hour out of the meeting with Emmanuel Macron saying that no, she's going to censor all the government, all the left-wing government. It's basically what the national rally is in now is in electoral campaign mode, and they're just trying to attack the radical left because the radical left is becoming biggest contender for the national rally for the upcoming elections, both legislative and presidential, because we're seeing that in France, actually, the politics has shifted from the mainstream to sort of two extremes, the radical left and then the radical right, because these are the groupings these are the parties and the movements that get the biggest, support from the French population. So, of course, the national rally is going to attack La France Insoumise and the leftist government, the leftist coalition, because they present a real danger for them in terms of, losing votes in the upcoming election.
All right. Anna McKeever, lecturer in political science at the University of West Scotland. Thank you so much for that analysis.